Hi, it's Therese from Lostinpaper, and today, as part of the Altenew release, I'm going to be making a card with the new engraved flowers and die. And the technique I'm going to be doing is embossing with dies, which is kind of similar to what I did recently, and I'll link that video here. This release also includes some new inks. We all like new inks, and look at these colours, they're amazing. And these greys, I thought I'd kind of use some of these inks on my card today. So they also got new packaging. So you know how the little cubes went to colours? These have gone to colours as well, so it's pretty exciting. I want to stamp out my flower in one of the greys, and I've chosen the second darkest, third lightest, second darkest. Anyway, it's called Cloudy Night, and these greys are really nice. They are kind of a warmish grey, and of course they stamp beautifully. I am using my Misty. This is a new set of stamps, and I did prep my image with an eraser, but I found it wasn't a problem. I didn't need to restamp this at all. I just thought it was easier because it is a bigger stamp. I just chose one of the images, it's a really beautiful flower, and repeated the same image over a panel that was larger than what I needed. And this gives me a bit of space later on when I cut my panel down. I can actually pick the portion that I think is going to look the nicest on the front of my card, because I want this to be covering the whole front of my card. So this technique is a little different to the one I did the other day. I'm actually using these dies, and I did want to mention, I've put the magnetic sheet on the back here to adhere them down, but these dies come pre-cut. You don't have to use those tools that I always struggle with to break the dies apart, and then you end up with those little sharp edges that you can cut your fingers on. Anyway, so that's a really good feature with these dies. Alright, so I'm going to run this through my embossing machine. I am using my Big Shop. Tab 1, base plate, have my cardstock with the image and the die laying over top, my silicone mat, and then a top plate, and then run it through. There's no pressure, it runs through. You think it's not even doing anything because it doesn't feel like it's doing anything, but you can tell when you take the silicone mat off, because you can actually see the embossed image on the embossed image on the back, and then the debossed images on the front. So I'm going to do this to all the flowers. So I'm going to show it to you again one more time. I'll just lay my die cut in place. I've got tab 1, then a base plate, then my cardstock with the die attached to it. Now I like to adhere it with a low tack tape because I face my dies upwards so that my base plate stays nice and flat, and silicone mat, and sometimes you get the tan mats. There's another version that's the same thing, and then a top plate. Run it through, and that's going to emboss a second flower. So basically I just did that for the whole panel, and once it was finished I did cut it down to fit the front of my card. I've got a top fold card here, and I just eyeball where I want the which portion I want. I make a pencil mark, and then I just run that through my trimmer, and I attach it to the front of my card with some tape runner. And then I decided to stamp out one of the images from the set, and I did use the Cloudy Night ink yet again, and decided to come in with my Polychromos pencils, which I'll list over at the blog. I'm not used to these. I don't seem to colour, I don't feel like I can blend the colours as well as I can with the Prismacolor, so I thought it'd be nice just to have a bit of a practice with them. And I've got the grey, because I've got the grey outline of the image, I just thought this nice salmon colour would be pretty, and some greens. So obviously this is part of a blog hop and a release, so there are prizes. There's a fun new product that they're releasing today, and if you head to my blog, the link is in the description below, you'll find out how you can have a chance to win, as well as see a couple of other examples of cards that I've made using some of the beautiful new Altenew products. And all these ink colours, I was really excited in particular about the vanilla. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like a vanilla colour. And not many companies make like a vanilla coloured or a cream off-white coloured ink. So I know I'm going to have fun with that one. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the other card that I made recently. So that was actually dry embossing and debossing with die cuts. So that's where this one's different. The embossing here was done with the actual dies themselves. So it's a good way to get more from your products and have create a different look on your card, and people can look at it and go like, how did they do that? They don't realise just how clever we really are. Right, so I did use the coordinating die once I'd finished my colouring to cut this out and just run that through my Big Shot machine, and I really like the way that this cut. I decided to pull out one of the other new colours and do a coloured sentiment as well. It's the Shadow Creek colour, which is also the second darkest, third lightest colour. And I just popped all this up on the front of my card, and that's pretty much it. And aren't I being a good girl? I'm using up all my old adhesives and pop dots and things, and I'm on a mission to empty out my adhesive drawer. Wish me luck. So till next time, don't forget to head to my blog for your chance to win, and also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for visiting. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.